Look at four ordinary things: a supermarket snack aisle, a passenger plane, a rack of clothes, a liquor store. They seem completely unrelated. But in the last 2 years, all four have started quietly changing because of the same tiny object, a weekly injection, originally designed for diabetes. In the space of about 2 years, the share of American adults taking it more than tripled. Snack sales are falling. Airlines are saving millions of dollars on fuel because their passengers weigh less. And it is rewriting one of the oldest and most political facts about the human body: who gets to be thin. This is politics in everything. Today, the shot that is eating the economy. First, what actually happened? Drugs like Ozempic and its cousins Wegovy and Mounjaro belong to a family called GLP-1s. They were built to treat type 2 diabetes. But they do something else too. They quiet the signal in your brain that says, "I am hungry, eat more." And the uptake has been staggering. In 2024, roughly 3% of American adults were on a GLP-1. By 2026, that had jumped to somewhere around 12%. Over that same period, the adult obesity rate, which had climbed for decades, actually started to fall from nearly 40% to around 37%. This is not a fad diet. It is a chemical experiment being run in real time on an entire nation's appetite. And when a nation's appetite changes, the first industry to feel it is food. Because the entire modern food business is built on a simple idea: get you to eat a little bit more than you need. Then along comes a drug whose whole job is to make you eat less. The numbers are already showing up. Households with someone on a GLP-1 have cut their grocery spending by around 6%. Retailers like Walmart have reported falling sales of snacks and sweets. And the bank Morgan Stanley has forecast a lasting decline in soft drinks, alcohol, and salty snacks as usage spreads. Big Food spent a century perfecting the art of making you want more. And a single injection is quietly canceling the order. But here's where it gets genuinely strange, because the ripples do not stop at the supermarket. Take Airlines. Analysts estimated that if enough passengers lost just 10 pounds each, carriers could save on the order of $80 million a year, simply from burning less fuel to haul less weight through the sky. Take fashion. As bodies shrink, the clothes on the racks no longer fit the country. One estimate warned that hundreds of millions of garments could end up mismatched to demand, putting billions of dollars of inventory at risk. And take alcohol. The same drug that quiets hunger also seems to quiet the craving for a drink. Users were found to spend around 15% less on alcohol, while sales of non-alcoholic beer and wine among that group exploded. One drug, touching the plate, the plane, the wardrobe, and the bar. So if this thing shrinks waistlines and reshapes whole industries, everyone must be on it, right? And here we hit the first hard political wall: the price. Without insurance, these drugs can run well over $1,000 a month. Ozempic sits at a list price of roughly $936. Wegovy, around $1,349. Every month, indefinitely, because when you stop, much of the weight tends to come back. For a large part of the population, that is not a medication. That is a second rent. So the real question is not what the drug does. It is who can afford to keep buying it. And this is the part that turns a health story into a class story. For most of modern history, being thin was already quietly tangled up with money. Fresh food costs more than cheap calories. Time to cook and to exercise is a luxury. Now, on top of all that, there is a drug that can do much of the work directly, biologically, for about $1,000 a month. Which means thinness is becoming, more openly than ever, something you can simply buy. The people who can afford it get the biology. And a great many of the people who cannot are left with the same thing they were always offered: a lecture about willpower. The wealthy get the cure. Everyone else gets the blame. Which raises an obvious question: what about the government? And the answer is that your body size is now increasingly a policy decision made in an office you will never see. In the United States, standard Medicare has long refused to cover these drugs when they are prescribed purely for weight loss. In 2026, a limited bridge program began, offering some beneficiaries access for around $50 a month, but it comes with conditions. and it is temporary. Meanwhile, moving in the opposite direction, at least one state, Pennsylvania, moved to cut its Medicaid coverage of these drugs for weight loss entirely. So depending on your age, your income, and which state line you happen to live on, the same body with the same needs can be handed the drug or handed a bill. Your waistline decided by your zip code. And then there is the deepest change of all, which is not economic at all. It is moral. For 100 years, the story we told about weight was a story about character. Fat was framed as a personal failing, proof that you lacked discipline, that you could not control yourself. Eat less, move more, try harder. And then a drug came along that simply switched off the hunger, and a huge number of people effortlessly did the thing they had been told their whole lives they were too weak to do. Think about what that quietly reveals. If a molecule can fix in a week what shame could not fix in decades, then maybe the problem was never a shortage of willpower. Maybe it was biology and food and money all along. The injection did not just shrink bodies. It punctured a story an entire culture had been telling and profiting from for a very long time. So, one last look at that tiny pen. What is it really? It feels like the most private thing imaginable. Your appetite, your hunger, your own body. But follow the threads outward, and that private feeling turns out to be a supermarket's revenue, an airline's fuel bill, a factory's clothing sizes, an insurance company's spreadsheet, a state legislature's budget line, and a 100-year-old moral story about who deserves blame. The drug did not create any of that. It just made it suddenly, brutally visible. It turns out that how much you weigh was never really a private matter between you and your kitchen. It was always political. The only thing that changed is that now, for about $1,000 a month, you can opt out of the argument. And most people cannot. A tiny pen, a shrinking snack aisle, and a very old story about blame. Everything is political, even your appetite. This is politics in everything. If this changed how you see that pharmacy shelf, subscribe and tell us in the comments, should a drug that works this well be a right or a luxury? Next time, a new arena, same game.